Well, hello there, everybody. I'm back. I thought I'd tell you the story I've been wanting to tell you about for a while. I told you I had one in the hopper. Well, that's this story I'm going to tell you now. So, I'm going to park tank here. I'm able to take the oxygen off for a while now, which is a good thing. And so at least I can talk a little bit better. We're going to take this next story about something that we actually did. Oh yeah, this is my filmmaker hat. Something we did some time ago, about 5 or 6 years ago. And I'm gonna, they say if you find a need and fill it. Well, we found a need and we filled it. And I'm gonna tell you a story about how we filled it. So come on.
Morning, y'all. Tuesday. Let's go riding.
Well, let's see here. Well, the red light's on the camera. That means we must be recording. Okay, welcome to my movie about scooters. This is the scooter story. I want to tell you about our scooters. Not a really great time to be talking about maybe something other than this terrible time we're all going through, but this is one I've had in the hopper for a while, like I said, and I thought I'd just go ahead and make it. I've got a lot of things I've been saving up about telling you about these scooters. Anyway, the story about the scooters are, they all started because we had this boat. Y'all have seen the boat. So anyway, we're keeping the boat in the marina. Now when you get you get a slip in the marina, they don't put you in the slip that's right up next to the parking lot. Those are all highly demand slips, so you have to get put way down at the end of wherever. And so we'd end up with these long trips down the dock, and it was just wear you out going back and forth to the boat from the clubhouse and then back to the boat. Then you have to run up to the store and then go back to the boat. Then you need to go to the coffee shop and then back to the boat, or up to the gas dock and then back to the boat, or maybe just up to the car to get something, go back to the boat. Now on a hot summer day, every time was like this big unwanted hike down a long dock just to get back to the damn boat. Oh, help me. We needed a lift. So, oh yeah, by the way, when we traveled anywhere else and went somewhere else to visit other marinas, they usually stick you about the very end of the T-heads because you're not usually from here. And that's even a further walk down the dock. So anyway, and of course there you got to get back and forth to marina office so you can pay your slip fees and your dock fees and check the weather, use the facilities, or get to the restaurant or whatever. So you end up making these long hikes back and forth to the boat. Well, I'd looked around and I felt like we certainly needed some kind of ride. And I knew that a lot of sailors will stow bicycles up on their boats or up on their yachts, but that takes up a lot of deck space. So I thought about it and I checked around and I discovered they had these things called electric push scooters. They're kind of lightweight, small, they fold up. Now ours are made by Eco Rico. We've had them about 6 years now, I guess. And oh yeah, they're built in Germany. They go about 20 miles between charges. I know they'll go faster than you really want to go, but they'll go up to about 15 miles an hour. And they weigh about 30 pounds and they fold up and fit under your chair. Now I happened to discover that there's this drop-down compartment in the back of our van where they fit in the back section without taking up any space in the back. What a handy deal. So you can put them in there. Oh, wait a minute, I want to tell you something. I want to tell you about our first trip we took when we were discovering that it was neat to keep them in the van. We went on this trip to Orange, Texas, to this place called Shangri-La. It's over in East Texas. This is several years ago. But we just happened to have them in the back of the van instead of on the boat. So we're in Shangri-La, this beautiful super duper flower garden-like facility to see this butterfly release. It was Earth Day. So not knowing that millions of people go to Earth Day, so we're directed out to this remote parking lot, way out in front of the place, about 3/4 of a mile from the gate. So after we get parked and we look around and Ellen and I looked at each other and we're kind of going, do we really want to do this? And we both realized at the same time that the scooters were in the back. Well, bada bing, bada bang, we're off to the front gate. We just take the scooters out, fold them out, and head off. We get to the front gate, we lock them down, secure on the scooters, and we had this whole fun day at the park. Never got worn out about getting there at all. And that was our first time of realizing that it was Earth Day, and what a fun thing to have these green scooters help us out on a trip to the front gate on Earth Day. Now that started this whole thing about, well, don't leave home without them. That was a new trend. In fact, they became the de facto ticket to making our hike a simple ride to wherever our destination was. Every parking lot became an opportunity to ride the scooters instead of having to walk some long distance. Sometimes we'd go park somewhere off just to get to ride the scooters. Because every time we got somewhere, we'd always see these smiles on people as we're passing by on our quiet little electric scooters, and we'd hear their envious comments as we'd glide by silently on our little green machines. Now, this is my first green machine, but I would like to tell you that I certainly would like to own a Tesla if I could afford it, but I can't. So I also want to say we scoot around our neighborhood, just sometimes just to see what's there, and we used to run down to the bay because we lived right near the ocean, and on a cool afternoon in the evening we just ride around the neighborhood. And of course now we've moved to this gated community where half these old timers around here, they have golf carts. Now they scoot around their golf carts to go back and forth to the lodge or the club facilities or the swimming pool, and where they're in their golf carts, we're scooting around on our scooters, except we can take the back trails and the sidewalks where they can't. Now, what else can I tell you about scooters? Oh yeah, lots of cities have scooters nowadays. I've seen it on the news all the time. You can rent these scooters with your smartphones. Different companies are competing with each other. They charge them up, they leave them there for you. You take out an app, and then you just get on the scooter, start it up, pay for it by the minute or mile, and they go right where you want. You park it here and leave it there. Now, some cities hate them. Some cities love them. But they're kind of a new deal. I don't know how that's going to end up, to see what it is. I want to tell you about a time we used them in a downtown trip, because we went to Denver, and we decided we were going to take the scooters with us. So we bought a couple of these travel cases made specifically for EcoReco scooters. And they're like luggage. You put the scooter in the case, you zip it up, and you just check it when you get on the airplane. So there we were in Denver, get our scooters off the luggage rack, drag them out to the front, take them out of the luggage things, and get on them, and zip around. We were staying at the Westin, which is right there at the airport, and they have a train that goes from the airport to downtown Denver. Really nice metro kind of a thing. And of course people take their bicycles and things, and we would just get on, put the scooter on the train with us, take the train to downtown Denver. So we could run around all over downtown. We went all over the places, visiting the sites and seeing museums, and visited the hotels and restaurants. The train station, in fact, there in downtown Denver is its own interesting thing to see. But that was our first trip of taking the scooters somewhere, actually on an airplane, and then using the scooters instead of renting a car. Of course, when we'd travel, a rent car would be one of our big expenses. Well, this was a trip we took off, and we never rented a car on the whole trip. We was gone for 2 days, 3 days, I think. And all the time we were there, all we did was just take the scooters and just went wherever we went, got off the train, scooted somewhere, got back on the train, came back to the airport, the hotel, and then checked them back in the luggage, flew back home, and had a blast. It really was a lot of fun. So that was a good thing about our downtown experience with scooters. You know, they're kind of built to be like commuter helpers. In fact, EcoReco calls them the last mile, because after you scoot over to your train or wherever your commute is, you can take your scooter and put it on the bus or under your train seat, and then you get where you're going, and then you get out and you take your scooter and unfold it, and then you take off to get to your job or to work. Now, I know that's in fact, I've got this video that kind of shows how they advertise it, how they show you how you can do all this kind of stuff, and pardon me, and then use the scooter for whatever your purposes might be. I've got a bunch of pictures. As a matter of fact, I've been collecting for a long time about these EcoReco scooters. In fact, maybe I can make a slideshow out of those. I've got a bunch of them. Let's see if I can figure out how to make it interesting to show you how many of these EcoReco pictures I've actually got. So let's see if I can show you those.
Morning, y'all. You stay. Let's go riding. Hey, come on.
Well, now isn't that something? I'll tell you what, there's more scooters than anybody needs there. But what I'd like for y'all to do is come on down here whenever we can get out again, whenever this stuff we're going through is over, and come see us, and we'll just scoot around the neighborhood, and you'll get to see for yourself what it's like. You can see firsthand if this is something you might find to be fun to do. Anyway, that's all for my scooter movie this time. I want you to subscribe. I want you to click that little bell down there, and then next time you can see what Grandfather Films came up with, and I'll tell you another story. Anyway, so long.